Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And yes, it is a Friday AMA. Usually, or I try to do Saturday AMAs, but I will be traveling tomorrow, so I will not be able to do a show tomorrow. So I have to do an AMA today. So there we go. Why in the world do I keep doing these AMAs? Why? Because you guys ask me stuff. So you want to ask me questions about stuff, and I want to answer them. And so I try, and it seems interesting to go back and forth. And then the chat gets into stuff, which I love. What half the time the chat's talking without me. So I'm not even mad at it. It's all good. I'm glad we brought people together in a kind of a community, a little nutty sometimes, but kind of a community anyway. So I do appreciate that tremendously. I wanted to bring up something specifically because of what happened last week, or maybe earlier this week, and also a video I saw last week. And that piece I want to bring up is, is RFK Jr. making the progress that some people want him to make? Is he making progress at all? And there are people who, more than once, I've heard people say this to me. What has he done? I've heard that more than once. I thought, you know what? It seems obvious to me, but maybe I'm wrong. So I thought, let me have a conversation with you guys about this. And I want to listen to things that I think he's done, that I think has been successful, but some people think he hasn't. And some people who say that are actually saying it so they can attack what he's done as bad and evil, because he's clearly a bad and evil guy and all those things, right? I get that completely. Look, if you are someone, particularly if you are an establishment Democrat, if you are, and I know some of you do watch because you're mad at me and you don't like what I say, but you still want to watch because you want to yell at me. That's fine. I don't mind. I do meet you guys outside sometimes. If you're an establishment Democrat, he's terrible. I get it. He's against what you want. He's against what you want. He's stopping the establishment. I get it. Makes sense. He's breaking what you have thought of as the norm for decades. Understandable. If I were you, I'd be upset too. It doesn't mean he's not being successful in his own right. And I've said this even when I was talking before about Trump doing these certain things when Dan was on. And Dan was saying how bad Trump is. Okay, you don't like Trump. I understand that. Lots of people don't like him. But it doesn't mean he's not getting his agenda through, right? That's the issue. Is he being successful in what he said? And that's my question for, I guess, you guys and everybody kind of when it comes to RFK Jr. And I wanted to play something which I thought was interesting. You guys know I love keto because keto is magic. We discussed this. It is. So it's I watch many doctors who've told about keto. One of them is a Swedish doctor named Dr. Ekberg. Some of you may know him if you're on keto, okay, about nutrition. He used to be an Olympian. He loves that stuff, right? He enjoys nutrition, things like that. And so he actually did a full show on RFK Jr. And I was like, what? Not normal for him. He doesn't usually cover politics at all. He covers things like eat this, eat that, whatever the case may be. That's what he usually talks about. Here's what a good supplement is. Here's what a bad supplement is. He does that usually. But he decided to do one on RFK Jr. And I want to show you a little bit of that one and why I think this is some of the things that he so much that he noticed it. And if he notices it, so will others. And that's the key.
Hello, health champions. Today, we're going to talk about the top 10 foods that have been shut down or are about to be restricted by RFK. And finally,
now I know some of you libertarians, when you hear shut down or when you hear limited, you go, what? Yeah. Yes. I understand that. I have that initial knee-jerk reaction too. I'm with you. All I'm saying is, listen to what this man says. We have a whole lot of people who are finally figuring out exactly what a monopoly and oligarchy we have when it comes to our food and our government.
After having talked about these issues for decades, about how food isn't food anymore and how we're being poisoned from the inside.
I joined the health food industry with a company that I started back in 2002. So it's 23 years from ago when I started figuring this out. So decades. He is correct. Yes.
Inside. Finally, there is a U.S. Secretary of Health for the first time ever who agrees more with actual practitioners of health.
And that's the piece that he is exactly correct. Actual practitioners of health. Now, what would mainstream people call them? And Kim, okay, Kim, you took my thunder. Kim says, if you Google expert, they classify him as a quack. So I say, if a doctor is yeah. Look, my point being here, you're right. So actual health practitioners, according to the U.S. government, are all quacks, right? That's, not true, right? The people who go, and you look, if any of you know people of status, wealthy people, people who know a lot of people, any of those things, or people like that, people of higher social status in our world, a lot of them go to private doctors. A lot of them go to actual practitioners of health. Many of them do. And they live till they're 90, till they're 80. Yeah. You know, the people who die at 50, they don't go to these people. They go to standard medical people who are not quacks, but they die at 55. Yeah. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Rather than the mainstream medical establishment. And with health practitioners, I mean those who help people get healthy, like chiropractors, like naturopaths, like people in functional medicine, and also those few wonderful heretics of the medical profession.
I love the heretics of the I love heretics, period. Like, I consider myself a very proud heretic. I love all the heretics. MD heretics, yes.
Medical doctors who have gone against the mainstream of their profession because it doesn't work. And now finally, we have a U.S. Secretary of Health who speak the language that we do. The first thing he's trying to get rid of is a bunch of artificial colors, such as red 3, red number 40, yellow number 5, and blue number 1. And these have been already banned in many countries, or even most countries around the world, because it's well recognized how dangerous they are and how much harm they do. They're strongly linked to hyperactivity, especially in kids, to behavioral issues, and also to allergies.
All these things that we're having trouble with, all these problems that the mainstream medical system, all they do is say, here's a new drug. They don't try to stop it or help it at all. Now, is every medical heretic correct? No, I'm sure some are quacks and bad and wrong. I am sure of that. So what? So are regular doctors, right? So yes, of course, there are some that are absolute quacks, and of course there are, of course. But two things. Number one, so are regular doctors, number one. Number two, it's still your choice. You own your life. If you want to listen to an MD heretic, you should be able to, particularly if what's happening now is that you're not getting helped. That's important. Grab a couple super chats real fast. Lunatic says, you need to schedule a date on my show, date and time. And you are my 10 to 15-year-old brother, an older brother. I'm going to go with 10. I like that. It's better, 10. We need our human family to make it through this. I want another system, a systems talk. Let's go through all the categories. Yes, absolutely. Let's do that. You're not on Twitter. Let me get back on Instagram and we'll go through Instagram. Let me go back to Instagram. We'll go through Instagram. How about that? Because I know you're not on Twitter. Twitter's fastest for me, but we'll jump on Instagram, make it happen, Lunatic. We'll do another show. Done. Yes, we'll do it. 100%. So yeah. Anyway, let me keep going.
And it causes thyroid cancer in rats. And that's why red number 3 has been
all these young cancers. So many people passing away of cancer. Isn't that weird?
Banned from cosmetics. So get this, the FDA has a clause called the Delaney Clause that prohibits, that outlaws any additive that is known to cause cancer. So now you can't put it on your skin since 1990, but
you can put it in your mouth.
Eat it. But now,
Yes.
since many manufacturers are anticipating that it will be outlawed, now very quickly they can start reformulating and get rid of it. So what?
And by the way, this is what actually happened. Oops, I'm sorry, I messed that up. That was my mistake. I'm sorry. Let me. I was trying to stop sharing. I do love Sabby, by the way. But no, the issue here is what they asked for. What they asked about was him making it all across the country, not just one state or state by state. He wanted to make sure it was all across the country. Why? Because they want to reformulate for the entire country. They want to have different formulas for each state. Makes sense. If I'm a massive manufacturer, I don't want to have to make a Fruity Pebbles for New York and a Fruity Pebbles for Pennsylvania, right? I want to make one for the country. So that they're not reformulating. They're not even fighting him. There's the issue. They're not fighting him. Why aren't they fighting him? Why aren't they fighting him? They should be. They should be fighting him. They're not. They know he's right. All they want to do is make sure that they can reformulate in the right way. So yes, sorry. Rick says, Sabby's one of my favorite commies. True. I think she probably is my favorite commie. I think she probably is. Yes, absolutely. I would agree with that. All right, let me get the second piece he mentions, which I think is interesting also. He brings up a couple pieces. Let me put this one up here if I can. And I do love Sabby, but that's okay.
Number 2 is Kennedy wants to get rid of SNAP junk food. And SNAP stands for Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program.
So he actually is somebody who wants to help poor kids and mothers. What? Yes. Poor kids and mothers. Let me ask you, can you think of any other HHS secretary that would have done this? Not in the last 20 years.
Formerly known as food stamps. And here Kennedy says that tax-funded programs should promote health, not disease. What a concept.
Yes, I mean, I'd like to have no tax-funded. But if I'm going to have tax-funded programs, he's right. That is an accurate statement. That's what should be happening, 100%.
We shouldn't pay for people to get sick. So he wants to stop soda, candy, and ultra-processed foods from
Who's
any
been
government
talking about
program,
ultra-processed foods before?
It is known, very well known, that sugar causes obesity, type 2 diabetes, and cardio.
He's actually saying obesity is bad. We haven't been saying that in the government. We've been, no. Fat is healthy at any weight. Fat's okay. No. He's like, no. It's obesity is bad for you, right? But again, your choice. I'm not against you. Do as you see fit. But you shouldn't be supplementing this. That's for sure. Absolutely. So, Ryan, thank you for the $5. My grandfather was a medical doctor, and he couldn't stand Dr. C. Everett Koop or any other doctor that got elected to Congress. Yes, because those who go into that field, generally speaking, they're all establishment hacks. Almost all of them. There's some minor exceptions, but almost all of them are establishment hacks. Absolutely true. Yes, 100%. Lunatic, thank you for the $5. Why do we ask our algorithms for opposition instead of cooperation? Why do we ask our algorithms for opposition instead of cooperation? Are we all warriors by DNA evolution? We are all docile to our true opposition. Why do we ask our algorithms for opposition? I don't. I have to look for my opposition. I use AI to find my opposition because my algorithm wants to send the same stuff every 5 minutes, right? My algorithm wants to keep sending me everything that agrees with me, right? The algorithms are there to harm you, not to help you. The algorithms, they send stuff like if I say if I go to my algorithms, I'll see Ekberg stuff every day because I like him and the stuff he does. That's all I'll see. I won't see people telling me veganism is good. It's not. But that's okay. I want to still see it. I still want to see it no matter what, right? We all know keto's magic. So I'll just keep seeing keto stuff. But how can I be so sure that keto is magic if I don't hear all the other diets? If I don't hear all the other ways of thinking? So I feel like the opposite's true. The algorithm gives me the same crap I always want, which is why I have to go out of my way to find new stuff. I have to go out of my way or I just keep getting the same stuff. Now, my algorithm now, I have many different accounts, as you'll see. I have like 5 different YouTube accounts because each one is a different algorithm. So I try to keep popping up on each one of them. Sometimes I get confused which one I put on, which one I did. That's why sometimes you'll see a commercial pop up because I put the wrong one on. So because I have so many different YouTube accounts. So that's why I do that. So I don't know. I think the opposite, Lunatic, unless I misunderstood your question or your point. I think the opposite is true. So yeah, thank you for that though. All right, a couple more here.
Vascular disease, and doesn't only cause it, but it does so especially in low-income communities. So if we use tax funds to pay for junk food for people with food stamps, now they're going to get sick, and then we get to pay for it again with their medical bill.
Bingo. And that's the point I want to keep bringing up. That's what he's trying to deal with, right? That piece is a big deal, right? That piece is a big deal. So I just, these are things that he's been doing. So there's a bunch more like ultra processed food out of school, seed oils he's working on, high fructose corn syrup, he's working on that. Let's see if I got a couple more that he mentions here. Access to raw milk if you want it, right? You guys may not want raw milk, but why in the hell would you stop somebody who wants raw milk? It doesn't make any sense. If you want raw milk, drink raw milk, right? He's pulling out sugary yogurts and cereals out of schools, and he's working on getting rid of processed meats. All things that we want to get rid of for the government to be paying for, right? These are not good for us. We know they're not good for us. Nobody else would have talked about it. It all matters. Absolutely. So that's what I love. Dave says, what about the Mediterranean diet, the carnivore diet, or the Atlantic diet? I like all of them, but keto's magic. But I like them all. I'm not mad at any of them. So anyway, if you want to watch that one from Eckbert, you go over to him. It was actually on, it's Dr. Sten, S-T-E-N, Eckbert. If you want to check out his channel. And that was about a week ago. If you want to watch that video, it's only about 17 minutes long. It's not that long. It's a great video. I like Dr. Eckbert. I like many, like Dr. Berg also, like a bunch of them. So here's a piece that I want to bring up on what he did recently. What he actually spoke about when he was in Congress recently. Now, I want you to think, is there any other HHA secretary who would have had to go through this and who would have said what he said?
Children.
Hold on, let me go here.
Anybody thinks that we did gold standard medicine in this country from these institutions, look at our children. They're the sickest children in the world.
They're the sickest children in the world. He says it. They're the sickest children in the world. And these people are like, let's keep going. What's wrong with you? You're the crazy one. The sickest children in the world.
Oh, excuse me, Congressman DeLauro, you say that you've worked for 20 years on getting food dye out. Give me credit. I got it out in 100 days. All right.
She said, I'll give you that credit. Purple-haired woman actually said yes to something. Purple-haired woman said, all right, you got me on that one. Yeah. Why are they so mad at him? They're mad at him for one reason, and this is going to sound horrible, but you guys know it already. Why does purple-haired woman hate RFK Jr.? You know why. Because Orange Man bad. That's the reason. Because Orange Man bad. That's it. I can't like anything he's doing. Why? Because he's connected to the Orange Man. Because he's got to be evil. That's how it works. Doesn't matter. She's like, oh, he got me. Damn you, Kennedy. Right? You fools. She actually did that, right? It's crazy. It is crazy that he had to say that, but he did.
So let's work together and do something that we all believe in, which is have healthy kids in our country, for God's sake.
And they hate him for that. What other person has been saying that besides him? That's the only one, right? And people got mad at him for this. Hold on, I'm not done. I got a couple more I want to show you real fast. And then I'll go open up for questions. But I just want to make it for people who are like, did Kennedy do anything? Who's talking about this? Even if he were to fail at all of them, I mean, he won't. But even if he did, if he failed at all of them, what secretary is even talking about this stuff?
And just discuss it a little bit further.
Well, the vaccine recommendations, Senator, are normally made through ACIP, which is the Advisory Committee of Immunization Practices.
Now, all the people say he doesn't know anything. Who is he? He's not a doctor, whatever. He knows this system better than anybody else who could have come into this position. Why? Because he sued them a gazillion times and instead of fight them through their systems. That he's probably sued that organization or called them in or subpoenaed them or something, right? He's dealt with them in some way, shape, or form. No one else has.
Which is an outside consulting committee at CDC. There's another committee called VRBPAC, which is within FDA, that actually recommends whether the vaccines get licensed or not. And so that's where the recommendations come from. And you know what? Traditionally,
by the way, the guy behind him, to our right, to Kennedy's left behind him, is a guy named Jeffrey Rose. He's wearing the Make America Healthy Again hat. He's a friend of mine. He's great. He's a great guy. Helps out a lot of people. Some of you may have seen him before. He shows up all the time. He's known Bobby for years. Yeah, I love Jeffrey.
they have not done evidence-based medicine. They only adopted evidence-based medicine about 12 years ago.
They've only adopted evidence-based medicine 12 years ago.
And what we've said during our administration is we want to have safety studies prior to the licensure and recommendation of vaccines.
There we go. Exactly right. Yes. Mastermind says, I agree the orange man is bad, but the blue men are even worse. You're not wrong. I can't fight you on that one. Yes, I can't fight you on that one. Yes, I cannot fight you on that one. Kim says, they hate everyone who proves they are right and the Dems are wrong. Dems are going to lose more support of RFK. I think in the long run, you are absolutely correct, Kim. I think in the long run, you are. Yes. James says, the orange man and the blue man are all the same. Well, I like that. Jerry, yeah, Jeffrey, yes. Jerry, good to see you, man. Jerry also knows Jeffrey. Yes, they know each other. Correct. Absolutely. 100%. Yeah, all good there. And Jeffrey not playing games. He's always there.
Vaccines are the only medical product that is exempt from pre-licensing safety testing.
See that?
So the only vaccine that has been tested in a full-blown placebo trial against an inert placebo was the COVID vaccine. The other 76 shots that children in this country receive between birth and 18 years old, none of them have been safety tested in pre-licensing.
How many parents know that? How many parents know that? I'm not against you jabbing your kid. I am not. Your parent, your kid, you do what you think is best for your kid's health. I'm not against it. I'm against mandate and I'm against the non-transparency. I got to tell you, there's literally, we know this, at least tens of millions of Americans who don't know that and believe and trust the government completely. All the time, you see it everywhere. Everywhere, you see it everywhere. The only way, and I've said this years ago, and I keep saying it, the only way Americans will ever regain trust in our institutions is with what Kennedy's saying, radical transparency. Even with that, it won't happen overnight. It will still take years to gain trust again. But it begins with radical, complete, and ultimate transparency so that we see everything, the good and the bad. And over time, if they just show everything and stop hiding stuff, over time, probably years, maybe decades, but over time, we can start to trust our institutions. But only if we do this. Otherwise, we can't. Daniel, thank you for being a member, says, ribeyes are the best, medium rare. True on both accounts. Both of those are true. Yes and yes. You got it right. Correct. Thank you for that.
Studies against a placebo, which means we don't understand the risk profile for those products. And
that's a problem. We should understand them. We shouldn't be making decisions unless we understand it. Yes. Lunatic says, thank you for the $5. Is regional now. Oh, it's regional now. I get all opposite information, but I also degrade both sides of duopoly. So maybe because your algorithm sees you go back and forth, so that gives you back and forth. Maybe. I'm not sure mine does that. That's why I have multiple accounts. So that I get different stuff put in front of me from my different accounts. 5 different accounts gives me 5 different For You pages. So I can go through each one and find everything. I know I spend too much time on this, don't I? I do. I spend too much time on this. But I have to have systems, or how would I know what to watch and what to read and where to go down, right? How would I know that? Right? I can't. He says, lines, boundaries, or labels, titles, or categories are over. No, you're wrong, brother. You're wrong. They're unnecessary and bad, but they're not over. People still like them. They enjoy them. And the reason they enjoy them is it's a shortcut, right? If I can call you the one thing or put you in a category or title or label, I can stop thinking. This would do RFK, by the way. They do it with libertarians. They do it, right, whatever. The left and right do it to each other, right? When someone who's on the right calls someone on the left a liberal, that's not a descriptor. That's an insult, right? Liberals, right? Owning the libs, that's an insult. That is used to degrade them, to put them exactly in that category you're talking about, and to dismiss them. I don't talk to him. Why? He's a liberal. And if you're a Democrat, when you call somebody crazy conservatives, that's not a descriptor. That's an insult. I can now stop talking to him. Why? Because he's a conservative. So clearly, why would I want to talk to him? Right? He's obviously wrong. They call the doctors are all called, quacks. So I can't talk to Eckbert. He's a quack. So I'm agreeing with you in that we shouldn't be doing that. But it's not over, man. People do it all. They like doing it. I call it the one-word story. One word tells the entire story. Let's talk to you anymore. You're a libertarian. You're a lunatic. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. Done. Your story's told in the one-word lunatic. Stop talking to you. So I'm agreeing with what should be. It's not what it is, though, man. It isn't. People still like it. They want it. It's everywhere. So he says, knowledge is rhetoric or truth. I just know violence against tyranny. We must be free. Sadly, and this is part of the show I did on Mr. Kanye, Mr. West, his song that came out this week was really about that. It was about this. It was the idea of men who feel like they have been trashed by the system, men who feel their voice is gone. Again, whether you agree personally or not is not the point, but men who think that's happened to them resort to anything, to include violence, which is why they yell, I'm a N-word Yahtzee. That's what I am. HH. Exactly what you're saying. When men feel that and believe that, they act that way. Yes. He says, no longer a valid argument. For whom? For whom, lunatic? For most Americans, totally valid. We have a lot of work to do, brother. A lot of work to do. We're nowhere near where you want us to be as a nation. As individuals, we are. You're correct, as individuals. But as a nation, we're nowhere near there. We have a lot of work to do, which is why, perfect timing. Thank you for kicking that off. Guys, hit the button known as like. Lima, India, Kilo, Echo, so more people can see this. So we can get more people on the right page, because many of them are not. Let's get them on the right page. Let's do it. Click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. Please do that. It does matter. If you have not shared this someplace, please share this someplace. Wherever you want to share this, it does matter, right? Whatever you want to do, please share it. If you haven't followed me on all my goodies, please follow me. If you're subscribing, make sure you click the all notifications so that you get a notification. If you want to super chat me, as you've seen Lunatic do, please super chat me, or you can rant me on Rumble if you want to. You can also become a member. Membership does matter. Every member does count. $49 per month. Click that join button. You can become a member. Or on Rumble, click $49. Click subscribe. Become a member only during the live on Rumble, right? Anytime on YouTube, for Rumble, only during the live. If you want to do that, that would be great. Every member counts. And if you are a member, members can submit reaction videos. I saw a couple of them yesterday. A couple more came in. I got to go through some more. I have one now for Tuesday already. So yeah, I appreciate them. I am trying my best to look at them. I do get overwhelmed sometimes, all the stuff I do, but I do try to look at all of them to the best of my ability. I can't grab all of them, but I do try. But no matter what, please click the button known as like. It does matter. I know I bug you because it matters. That's why. I see a rant over on Rumble. It's my VA lady. You talk about fighting Mr. Rhythm by breaking up his name. Can you explain why? Are there rhythms that search out for the word Al Gore? I tell other podcasts that you fight Mr. Rhythm every day. Yes, the problem is if you start talking about that, YouTube can pick this up. So don't talk about it because I don't want them to censor that part or say that I'm trying to somehow game the system, right? Even though lots of people do, they see me do it and they're going to hammer me. I'm hammered enough. That's why you see why I use baby talk on YouTube. I've moved away, if you've noticed, maybe you paid attention. I used to go live all the time on my Larry Sharpe page. I stopped. I hardly ever go live on my Larry Sharpe page. Why? 38,000 subscribers, 300 views, 200 views, going live. How is that even possible? How is that possible? 30. Everyone who looks at that goes, that's impossible. I've had people come to me and say, let me check this out. Let me look at this. Larry, I don't know why. And they look at it and go, I can't believe it. They have no answer for me. I've had professionals come in and have no answer for me. I listed YouTube and YouTube gave me some lie. Oh, we don't know. We don't understand. YouTube gave me that response. 38,000. And I would get 200 views, 300 views. And all of a sudden, I used to get 5,000, which is more like it. So how do I know it's true? Because now I go live on Sharpe. If you notice now on YouTube, it's Sharpe. I don't go on live on Live Sharpe anymore. Sharpe wasn't monetized back in the day. It was a backup channel. I was going live on my main channel. Sharpe was a backup channel. So I don't think they shadow banned it. I only have about 3,000 people who follow me on Sharpe. About 3,000 of you are subscribed. 3,000. A tenth of what's on Larry Sharpe. I get more views on Sharpe than I got on Larry Sharpe. It's a tenth of the subscribers, and I get double or triple of the views. How is that possible? That's more like it. I don't think Sharpe is banned on you. I don't think so. I'm sure Larry Sharpe is shadow banned. There's no other answer. So that's why I don't go live on it anymore. I still keep it, so I have it, but I don't do it anymore. I can't. It doesn't make any sense. That's why you've noticed I don't go live on that anymore. Why would I? So I've shifted over to Sharpe because I get at least 10% of the viewership, which is way better than I was getting 1% of my other viewership. So it's crazy. So I hope that answers your question at least. I know it's a pain, but I hope it answers your question. So yes. Sarah, thank you for the $1 rant. Sharpie, send a rant and I'll match. I got one so far from that Liberty lady. Who's next? Oh, thank you for that. You guys over at Rumble. I appreciate that. Rumble, actually, I have the highest percentage. I only have about 450, give or take, subscribers on Rumble. And I get over 100 views every time. Sometimes 200, 300 views sometimes. And I only have 400 people. So Rumble's actually my most efficient when it comes to that. So yes, I am fighting Mr. Rhythm all the time, guys. Thank you for that. I do appreciate everything you guys are doing. So, okay, let me grab, if I could, another one, which I think you guys will enjoy. I will grab another one. There were a couple of them. All righty. Let me go to here. All right. This one is also another one that he put up. And then I'll head over to your own calls. Your calls. I think I'm on a radio show. I'll switch over to your
switching the trajectory, so that we're going to really focus narrowly on chronic disease, ending the chronic disease epidemic, and then we're
chronic disease. Who was talking about that before? Oh wait, nobody.
going to make sure that the science cannot be corrupted.
And here's the thing you understand. Bobby Kennedy Jr. said something last year. Boy, did it hit home. And if any of you have had this happen in your world, you know. And he said, the most profitable thing in America is a sick child. I've had a sick child. If you've had a sick child, boy, does that hit home. I almost lost my daughter, my youngest, when she was a baby. Still bothers me to this day, obviously. 15 years ago. Still bothers me. And if you've had a sick child, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know that feeling. You know that pain. You know it. And knowing that the system is like, yes, we got cash on this one. We're going to make tons of money off this one. And he knows that. And that's true. And I will ask you, what person, what politician has ever been so forward to say that? Only him.
At every scientific study is replicated. At the raw data for those studies is published. At the peer review for those studies is published. And we're going to focus on making sure that we get to younger scientists rather than the old boys network. And I could talk to you about scientific corruption all day long, about horror stories that we know have happened within NIH. One of those.
He knows all the horror stories.
Probably the worst is the amyloid plaque scandal. For 20 years, we were, because of utter corruption and fraud, we were directing Alzheimer's research to one hypothesis.
One thing.
And any other hypothesis was shut down. We should have the cure for Alzheimer's today. We don't have it purely because of corruption at NIH.
And he's not lying. That is 100% true. If you think that's not true, you are not paying attention. We decided We decided, not because there was evidence, that the reason for Alzheimer's was plaque in the brain. We just decided that. We didn't say it was true. We decided it was true. And then said, let's just go ahead and figure things out. Now, you know what people are calling Alzheimer's now? Type 3 diabetes. I'm not making up, do your own homework. That's true. No one was thinking about that until literally like last year because he brought it up. I knew that already because keto is magic. So I knew that already, right? Because I knew keto was magic already. Larry, are you saying keto stops Alzheimer's? Yes, that's what I'm saying. The keto diet was literally created for brain health, people with epilepsy. Again, I'm not making that up. That is, do your homework. The origins of the ketogenic diet are to treat people with epilepsy, to stop seizures. It was made for brain health. Literally, that's what it was made for. So why aren't we thinking about that for Alzheimer's? We weren't. Now we are because of this man. So you can be mad at him all you want, call him crazy, whatever. I'm mad because Casey Means is going to be in. I don't give a shit at all. At all. Don't care. Don't care. They're talking about this stuff. And now we're talking about not making a sick kid the most profitable thing in our country. That's an embarrassment. That's an embarrassment. We should, as a nation, be ashamed of that. We weren't. Tell him. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. Sarah, thank you for $2. This super chat has limits. True. It does. It's YouTube. It kind of has to. Yes. Sovereign Astrology, thank you for $2. Don't forget to become a member and share. True. Please do both. Share this someplace. You can pop this into a Facebook page. Put it on Twitter or X. You decide. Lunatic, Larry, the work of liberty is really working. Yes. This message is truly sincere. Yes. You're not wrong. I'm with you. Why do you think I do this every day? Yes. Why do you think I run for office? Now, no, I want to be very clear on this, Lunatic. Running for office isn't the be-all, end-all. It is not. But it does get the word out. Bobby Kennedy Jr. is getting his word out. Why? Because he ran for president. That's the reason, because he was able to raise tens of millions of dollars and command at least 5% of the vote, if not more. He then had leverage in the political arena, and now he's here speaking his message. Now, I'm happy he's speaking the message, but it's not libertarian. He's not libertarian, but he's got a great message. I'm happy. I'm not mad at his message. I obviously, I wish it was a libertarian message. I wish it was. I'll take it, though. It's good enough. I'm going to take what I can get. I'm going to take what I can get. I took out 2 years of my life, raised $1 million, and I got shit for it. I got nothing for it. I can't even get people to watch my show on YouTube. You got a whole lot more. I'm not mad at them. So my part of my work is doing what others will not do or cannot do, and that is run for office. I'm the guy who doesn't mind getting my ass kicked. I'm the guy who doesn't mind getting out there fighting. I'm the guy who doesn't mind being a surrogate. I was a surrogate for him. I was a surrogate for Gary Johnson. I was a surrogate for Lars Mapstead. I'll be a surrogate. I don't mind. I'll get out there. I'll be a surrogate. I'll take the slings and arrows. I will do it. A lot of people won't. Now, you're doing other things. They're all valuable. This is my thing. That's why I do this. This is what I do well. That's why I do this. Going in front of the media, that's what I do well. Getting beat up in front of people, doing stuff live, that's what I do well. That's my skill set. And we all got to do our part. All do our part. Again, running for office, not the be all end all, but it is an important part of this whole mission. And that's my part. I'm looking over at Rumble. Peace. Thank you for the $1. Bobby is doing an excellent job. He's fighting the swamp. True. I'm so excited to see what's next on his lineup to target. There's lots. I'm with you 100%. Straight Ann says, funding goes to one hypothesis. Sounds like string theory. Oh, that's another story. Yes. We decide it's right. We did that with you're right. We did it with Einstein. We said Einstein said it, therefore it's right. He wasn't always right. I mean, wrong. He's brilliant, a genius. Glad he existed. Well done. It doesn't make him infallible. And we shouldn't assume he's always correct. You hear me say all the time, look it up. I'm saying stuff. Do a Google search. Just do it. You'll find it. Totally fine. Sharpe Fan 12 over on Rumble, also looking for $5. At least RFK is looking into things that others have ignored. Correct. Even when they knew there was a problem. Also correct. I will grab one more piece here if I can. That part's important, but let me grab another one because that's going to go to the next piece. You just brought up a great piece, Sharpe fan. And that is this one here. All right. This is just a picture I want to bring up. This is just a picture. There we go. I'll bring this piece up here so you can see this picture. This is a picture from Twitter, and it's from Texas. There we go. From Texas. Talking about fighting to ban dangerous chemicals from school lunches, right? Blah, blah, all that stuff. There we go. Michael, that's great, right? We're helping out the kids, right? Right here, Sarah McGee for Texas. So she's running for something. She says, hi, Brian. Where is the line in HB2 that provides funding for this? Oh, wait, there isn't one. In another unfunded mandate designed to cripple public education. That's her response. She wasn't the only one. There was other people down here who said, where's the funding? Now fund it. Now fund it. Now fund it. This guy's laughing. Ha ha, dying. Now fund it. Now you might go, Larry, well, don't you worry about funding? They're saying the quiet part out loud. They're self-reporting. They're telling each other. They care more about the money than the kids. So they're not saying he's wrong. They're not saying it's not killing the kids. That isn't the argument. I mean, you don't have money for it, so let the kids die. They're literally saying that. She's running for something, and she's saying, you don't have money for it? Dead kids then. What? That is what they're saying, and they're openly saying it. They're saying it openly. That's the worst part. Not even hiding it. I tell you all the time, it's about the money. There it is. There's the money right there. So parts of that stuff they did, the public health safety, transparency, and the MAHA tour. Those are the things that he's been doing. So I will answer the question the way I think it is. I know I went long on this, guys. I apologize. I will grab the other questions. I think, has he been perfect? No, I didn't think he would be. Is he getting everything I want done? Nope, I didn't think he would. Right? So can I complain if I want to? Sure. And I think you all could. And can you say you want more? Sure. I think you all could. Can you be unhappy with some of the people that he has brought aboard? Yes, I am too. True. All things. And if you want to say that or bring that up, I don't have a problem with you saying it or bringing it up. My problem is when you try to dump and destroy the entire movement because of that. That to me is silly. That to me is silly. Oh, now, no, it's no good anymore. Why? Because this person came out. Oh, it's no good anymore because this happened. So now he's betrayed us all. That's stupidity. In my view, that's terrible in my view. But you can say you don't like it. I get it. I want to change. Sure. It's not perfect. You can announce that. Try to help. Sarah, thank you for the $5. I love Nicole Shanahan, as do I. When she was first picked, I was worried, and I was open about it, and the people knew. I was like, I don't know. My worry was that she wouldn't have the stomach for this because this is a just horrible swamp. Why would anybody want to be in this? I don't even know why I'm in it. It's terrible. So I thought she's not going to have the stomach for this. Boy, was I wrong. Pleasantly surprised. She walked in. She showed she could fight. She could threaten. She could use her money effectively. She can get in the right podcast. Now she's teaming up with Glenn Beck. A lot of people think Glenn Beck's crazy. I don't like him. I happen to like Glenn Beck. He's my friend. I like Glenn Beck a lot. And I think he scored a home run by bringing her aboard. I'm a huge Nicole Shanahan fan. She called Ron Paul the Cicero of the modern day. You know I'm going to win. I'm going to love her on that one. I hope she runs. I hope she pays attention. I hope she supports candidates. I hope she never leaves our movement. So I'm with you. Totally love her. Adore her. She goes on to say, but I'm conflicted ever since her tweet to RFK Jr. I have trouble in general with famous people fighting in public. Well, I brought that up if you happen to see my show a couple of days ago. To be very fair to Nicole and fair to Bobby on this, she was not treated as well as she could have been treated. I mentioned it, by the way, when I talked to Kim Iverson on her show 2 days ago? Yesterday. I mentioned it on her, 2 days ago. I mentioned it on her show also. She was not treated as well as she should have been treated. It's true. She was kept in the dark on certain things. She shouldn't have been. They thought she wouldn't know, couldn't have known, all that stuff. A lot of that. And so she was worried, but not just that. She saw something else. So if any of you listening or watching were part of the RFK campaign, there was some actual infiltrators, like people who came in from the Democratic Party, who came in acting like they loved Bobby, and they sabotaged stuff. That did happen. That's not made up. That actually happened. She saw some of that. And so now she's worried. Wait a minute. What happened here? Now, Bobby didn't see that coming. Could he have? No. Could he have been involved? There was a massive campaign. I'm not mad at him for that before. I'm not mad at Bobby. I am bothered by some of the people who work for him who should have seen that. Yes, I don't want to throw people under the bus because people are still moving, so I'm not going to say who, but that will come out. But not him. I've been a candidate. You can't know and recognize everybody. I would go out on my campaign in New York in 2018 and meet people. And they would tell me, hey, Larry, I'm your so-and-so coordinator for this area. And I had never met them before. I'd never met them. My team had hired them. My team brought them aboard. I'd never met them. It happens all the time. But if they had brought bad people aboard, I would have been upset with my team who brought them aboard. So I'm not mad at Bobby for that. But she's correct. Nicole's correct. There were actual infiltrators. Infiltrators. Is that right? Yes, those people who came in and made things bad and tried to hurt and did hurt. So she's concerned. So I get it. And Bobby also didn't communicate as well as he could have with her. That's what I'll say. I'm prepared to say that. He did not communicate as well as he should have with her. There we go. And so she has some issues. I'm not mad at her for it. I get it. My hope is if she sees this working, now we'll move on from there. That's my hope, Sarah. So I hope you get what I'm talking about. Lunatic says, Larry, you are the man. Larry, we love you. Oh, thank you. Never quit. It is a mission. Great language. Imagine. The true armada behind free thinking, implementing humans. We are the majority. Yes, but we got to get everybody together. Yes, everyone together. Absolutely. I appreciate that, Lunatic. All right. Oh, a bunch of gifts. Andrea gives one Sharpe membership. Thank you so much. Phil, one membership. Thank you. Daniel, one membership. Guys, grab the memberships. Excuse me. Got a frog in my throat. Remember our rule. If you make $2 million a month, if you make $2 million a month, you may not take a free membership. If you make $2 million a month, pay the $49. Don't be cheap. You make $2 million a month. Do that. If you make less than $2 million a month, you may absolutely take a membership. Please grab one. There's the rule. Okay. So any of you out there who make $2 million a month, pay the $49. You make $2 million a month. Don't complain. If you make less than 2 million, you may take any of these memberships. Please enjoy. Some of you know why I do that because you've watched the show often and you know. Those of you who don't, you should watch the show more. It may change. So yes, Sarah with $2, $11 in rants on Rumble so far. Who's next? Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate that. Yes. Peace. Thank you for his rant on Rumble. He says, Larry, have you looked into the Rock Creek Park incident where RFK took his kids swimming? My anti-RFK friend is hitting me with bad parenting for taking kids to Blue Creek. Any insight? Yes. He is from an era, E-R-A, an era where people swam in creeks. He takes his grandkids to swim in creeks. That's what he does. Lots of people swim in creeks and didn't die. There was a joke. It was, hold on. Who was it? Now I've forgotten who it was. George Carlin. It was George Carlin. That's who it was. George Carlin, who told a joke about swimming in the East River. He said, we used to swim in the East River. He goes, and you know what that made us immune to? Everything. He was kind of joking, but he wasn't. That's where RFK comes from. So he takes his kids swimming in a river. It's fine. What are you going to do? So what? And again, bad parenting. To be forward piece, when you don't like somebody in politics today, you assign all the bad traits to them. And that, remember, the left dismisses, the right distracts. This is dismissive. See, this guy comes from the left. That's who's telling you this. Because it's like, see, you can't trust this guy. He's a bad parent. What does that have to do with anything he's doing? What does that have to do with anything he's doing? So let's say he's a bad, maybe your friend's correct, and RFK Jr. is a bad grandparent. Okay, so he's wrong about everything else I just showed you? No. But I must dismiss him. See, look at this. See, I must keep insulting. I must keep insulting. Why? Because he's right. Because RFK Jr. is right. So I must keep insulting. So yes. So Peace also says, oh yeah, that's true. There was infiltration. I work for the campaign. Yes, anyone who's worked for the campaign knows that to be true. That is true. That did absolutely happen, 100%. So JJ4884 says, does Rock Creek compare to the Ganges? No. The Ganges is far more polluted. Far by magnitudes of hundreds. And literally millions of Indians swim in the Ganges. Correct. Accurate. Good point. I like that. Yes. He was going to say it's infiltrate. Thank you. Not, yeah, infiltrators. Infiltrators. Thank you. Yes, they infiltrated. There we go. I got that right. After a while. Took me a couple minutes, but I got it right. So, all right. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover there on that piece. Yeah, I think I covered everything. Yes. All right. Let me grab a bunch of your comments and questions. This is supposed to be an AMA, but I just kind of got a little bit, carried away. Kim says, I'm disappointed that you would ask this question, Larry. Is RFK Jr. making progress? It's a no-brainer. He made huge progress by joining the Unity Party. He not only made progress, he made history. Kim, I think you know me better. I think, Kim, you got a little upset. You got a little mad at me. Okay. I still love you, Kim. Totally fine. But yeah, am I sometimes clickbaity? Yes. Yes. Have you seen my thumbnails? Yes. Why would I be clickbaity, Kim? So people will watch. You're watching. I win. There we go. So still love you, Kim. All good. I hope what I said made sense at least. I hope it made sense. So, all righty. Vivek asks, which government agencies and departments need to be ended and phased out as soon as possible? All of them, but we can go slowly. But all of it. It's a very vague question. Vivek, sometimes you ask questions that are so vague. There's no way I can actually answer it realistically. It's just so vague. So many of them. I would start with anything that is stopping businesses from growing, and second, stopping buildings from being built. Those two things, infrastructure and building, whatever is stopping infrastructure and buildings from being built, and whatever is stopping businesses from being grown, because those two things help everything else. That's where I would focus on those. So, all righty, let me see if I can grab another one here. This is from Peace Logic. I totally get all the tricks and bad logic. Totally get it. I live near Rock Creek. It's forbidden to swim because of the pollution. There we go. There we go. Thank you, Peace. I appreciate that. All righty. Grab a couple more of these if I could. All righty. This is some of you guys talking to each other, so I appreciate that. Sarah says, yeah, Kim, I think Larry's sticking up for RFK Jr. everywhere. True. I was his circuit last year, but he knows someone needs to speak for him right now since RFK Jr. is quiet. Well, he just hoop and hollered on Congress, so that was good. He did that one. Yes. Sarah goes on to say, Larry, you nailed it on Kim's show. RFK is hurting himself by not speaking honestly the way Massey does. True. That's true. Yes. He would have his back. My theory, RFK Jr. thinks he needs to take the whole burden on himself. Yes, I think you're right on that. Look, as a general rule, particularly in today's society, the cover-up is always worse than the actual thing. If you are open and honest, and I think Trump's been screwing up on this too and things he's been saying, right? If RFK would say literally, look, literally come out and say something like, I can't get everything done. It's impossible. I have a swamp here that goes out of its way to stop me. I can't get it all done. I have to give in certain places. Just say it out loud. It's what I got to do. Otherwise, I get nothing done. Then all of the virtue signalers, which there's so many of them, they're going to hoop and holler and you can shut them down. Now it's harder to shut down the virtue signalers who are like, he's not perfect. He didn't do everything I said. And before, and I said it on Kim's show, there's a lot of this where he couldn't bring in all the people he wanted to bring in. A lot of people were supposed to come in who have been around him for literally years, if not decades. And many of them feel shunned. And again, they're right. I want to be clear, Sarah. The people who were shunned by Kennedy have a right to feel bad. He did shun them. That's true. He did. But he's not saying why or explaining it. They're all lost. I understand. Then they see Casey Means show up and go, what's Casey doing here? She wasn't with you back in 1999. She wasn't with you back in 2010. And they're right. She wasn't. So why does she get to show up? Well, maybe she's the one that he can get in. But he's not saying that. And he should. No one's going to be mad at him, right? Except they're just not. You're right. So we have his back. Like, okay, I get it. Yes, that's how it works. Okay, we can't do it. And the people we shouldn't would at least go, all right, it's not me. It's not me. It's the system. Okay, they would feel better about it. And he has not done. That's where he's failed. That's where he's failed. I agree. Andrea says, in my opinion, I think RFK is making big strides. He's making sure he has all the receipts before he makes announcements of what will be changed. Also true. Kim says, Dr. Sten Ekberg is my favorite. He's good. I like him. I watch his stuff and a bunch of others, but I do like him. There's a couple Canadian women who I like also. Youngsters, probably their late 20s. For me, youngster, right? I'm in my 50s. So yeah, for me, those are youngsters. So yeah, a couple of them also. So who I like very much. The Canadian, I don't know why they're Canadian. But yeah, they talk a lot about health, things to do, how to act, things to eat, a lot of them. So there's a lot of them out there. If you spend some time, looking for these type of doctors, you can find lots of them. And the funny part is most of them will overlap on most things. Some will be off here or there, but most of them will overlap. Yeah, that's the piece because they're looking at what's actually working. So, all right, let me see if I go down here. Sarah says, quacks are the only people to help me with autoimmune, cancer, and depression. True, because they're not looking to give you a pill. That's why, Sarah. They're not looking to give you a pill. Right? The issue with quacks is quacks are out of the system. If you're out of the system, you don't rely on the system. Relying on the system, you make money by giving out pills. Right? So if I'm in the system to make money, I have to give out pills. That's how it works. Yes. Phil says, bodybuilders and elite athletes in the know so much about health, and none of them go to regular doctors, do they? They don't. They all have specialists. All of them do. Yes, 100%. You're totally correct. Michael says, my Fruity Pebbles will never be the same. They'll be different colored. That's true. If you go online, you can see there's pictures of like the German Fruity Pebbles and like the American Fruity Pebbles, and the colors are different. So yes, the colors are different. Absolutely. Andrea says, I usually listen to dissenting doctors. I listen to lots of doctors online. I don't go to doctors except every 4 years. When I run for office, I go so I can have a physical in case they ask for it when I run for office. That's it. Otherwise, I don't go to doctors. So yeah, it's not my thing. I tend to ignore them. I don't really go. Even if I get ill or sick or something, it's very rare I go. And I really get ill or sick, but if I do, I usually don't go. So, I mean, that's like all they're gonna do is just give me a drug, which I'm not gonna want to take anyway. So, Phil says Sabby is great. Doobie doobie doo. Yes, I've been on her show before. I like Sabby. I like her tremendously. I try to get her to physically come down to New York because she's in Boston. Come down and to co-moderate a debate. She was going to do it, but then the debate got canceled. It didn't work. I was trying to get her from that. I couldn't get Kim to come in person. She's in California. So it's a much bigger deal for her to come from California, New York, than Sabby to drive down from Boston one day or one night, spend a weekend down here. So yeah, I like Sabby a lot. She's very savvy. What I like most about her name's Sabrina, by the way. Sabrina Salvati. She goes by Sabby Sabs. If you don't want to see her show, it's Sabby Sabs, her channel. I watch her show often. What I like about her is she's much further left than I am. I mean, way further left than I am. But you guys know, I know a lot of lefties. I talk to lefties. I like lefties. She really wants to fix America. She does. She wants to fix America. And when people really want to fix, I listen, whether I agree or not. I listen. The issue that Sabby doesn't do well on her show is she doesn't want to take on her audience when I'm on. So I have to do it because her audience is brutal to me. Brutal, horrible, nasty, mean, as most left shows are horrible to me, which is why most libertarians don't want to go on left-leaning shows because they get slaughtered in the comments. She feels bad, so she'll ignore them. I pick them up. Oh, this guy said, I'm this terrible, horrible human being. Let me deal with that. Her chat is brutal towards me. That chat's brutal. You know what chat is not that brutal to me? I'm trying to think of one that maybe isn't. Do Dissidents. Do Dissidents. They're lefties too. Their chat is not that brutal. I mean, it's mean, but not that brutal. The others are just brutal. Just terrible. Dylan Burns is not as bad either. Vosh's chat is, it's brutal. I didn't even come on yet. Like, it's the second I'm on, they're like, Larry's the libertarian. Slaughter, 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 insult, 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 insult. Yeah, just terrible. So Mastermind says, I had a show on RBN. Oh, I didn't know that. Long Beach chapter with CJ and Sabby got super butthurt that she wasn't getting 50% of the $0 we got for super chats. Math isn't Sabby's strong suit. Well, there we go. So yeah. I had a couple people from RBN on my show here or there. I've had a couple. In fact, if you know, Rome did a documentary called, I don't want to say the word, but Unlife. I got to be YouTube. Unlife to America. I actually did a review of that movie. And if you look for that on my Larry Sharpe YouTube page, you'll see it. I did a review of the movie. And I asked him, he gave me permission. So I showed the entire movie with permission. He knew it. He was actually watching, but he did watch my critique of it. So I went down to the entire critique of it. And I gave him a lot of credit. For those who don't know, the RBN people, it's a Revolutionary Blackout Network. They are very much left-leaning. They are like all-out communists, very much left-leaning. But they talk about things that libertarians talk about. What I mean by that, community, local community, getting rid of government completely. Like, they're pro 2A. I would tell you this. If you go far enough left, you get your guns back. That's how that works. If you go regular left, you lose all your guns. You go far enough left, and I mean past Bernie left, you get your guns back. For those you don't know, the Green candidate years ago was a guy named Howie Hawkins, also a friend of mine, Marine. A lot of Green people don't like Howie. They think he was corrupt and mean because he fought with Jill Stein. I don't know the Green Party ins and outs. I just know Howie Hawkins is a personal friend of mine. I like him. By the way, Mike Voss also knows Howie Hawkins. They're friends. And Mike Voss is right. Howie Hawkins is left as they come. Hawkins is far left. I mean, he's Green Party. He was the socialist candidate in 2020, was it? Yeah, I think it was. He was a socialist candidate. He's pro 2A. Yep, he's pro 2A. You go further enough left, communities defend themselves. Communities support themselves. Defend themselves. So go far enough left, you get your guns back. So anyway, but you got to really go. And I know a lot of people in that world, Mastermind. Obviously, I'm mentioning people who you know. So yeah, absolutely. All right, let me walk down this if I can. Phil says, obesity is a lot like alcoholism. It's behavioral and chemical. True. Most bad habits are both, right? Whatever, whether that's smoking, drinking, eating, they're both. I agree. Even being addicted to video games, even that, it's always both. Yeah, I completely agree. It is always both. Yes. All right, let me walk down this road if I can. Jerry says, plant-based is not magic. It's just the healthiest. Nice comeback, Jerry. Nicely done. Nicely done. I do like that. That's nice. That's a good response. So, all righty. Mastermind says raw milk is awesome if you want to clean dairy. Look, whatever they like. I'm not a raw milk guy myself, but who am I to tell you what you should be putting in your body? Enjoy. If it works for you, it works for you. That's all I care about. So yes. Lunatic says, thank you for the 499. Physical opposition is the only test / matrix. Neurotransmission / receptors, brain response. The only people that engage physical response voluntarily. The only people that engage physical response voluntarily. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yes. Yeah, but see, I would like a world, in my perfect world, where nobody wants to use violence. In my magical utopia, Lunatic, you would only buy a firearm for sport or hunting, because you would never even imagine needing to use one for any other reason. Now, obviously, that's my utopian magical world, right? With leprechauns and unicorns, right? I'm not fooling myself. That's what I would love. That is my perfect world when it comes to violence and firearms. If I could have the best world for that, that's what I would look for. I would try to make it happen in that way if I could. Now, what does that mean in reality? How could that world ever exist where you would only purchase a firearm because you want to hunt or whatever the case may be. That's the only reason why you'd buy one. It will be a world where violence didn't make sense, where it never paid off, where it didn't make any sense. You got no benefit or value from it whatsoever, to where nobody wanted to. The best defense against violence is not a firearm. It's not you got to put your dukes up. The best defense, if at all possible, is an environment where nobody wants to be violent. So we need to move towards that to the best of our ability. Now, part of that is what you're saying, making it to where violence doesn't pay because you never know how violent the other guy is going to be, right? So you don't know how violent the other guy's going to be. I mess with you, lunatic, and that might be the last person I mess with, right? It might not be, but I don't know. And I might go, I don't want to mess with people because I mess with somebody, and it might be the last person I mess with. So maybe I won't do that. In fact, if I communicate with lunatic, I might get a better response than trying to be violent. And if I do communicate and I get what I want from him, I keep doing that. And more people do. So I think that piece is what I would try to achieve. But your point's valid. I may need to move towards violence or knowing that there is violence before I get there. But I want to get to that point. That should be the overall goal. The goal should be a world where nobody wants to do this. That should be the issue. So, all righty. Let's see here. Let me grab another one if I could. Thank you for that one, Lunatic. I appreciate it. He goes on. Sorry. People hunt for sport in the streets daily. Ops. Depends where you are. That's what I would say. Depends where you are. And I'd like to end that. How about that? Depends where you are. Mastermind says, my grandfather was the milkman for the entire county, and I used to have half and half on my cereal. Now I'm lactose intolerant. I guess I burnt out my milk abilities early. See that? You went too far, Mastermind. You went too far. That was your problem. You went too far. All righty. Let's see here. Kim says, it won't be long, and parents will be having their children tattooed, whether the kids want it or not. Think about that. Oh, God, I hope that's not true. God, I hope that's not true, Kim. Okay, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I want you to be wrong. I want you to be wrong. Yes. Ken says, my algorithm keeps showing me PETA since I pointed out that they unalive more pets than the ATF. Oh, is that true? I actually didn't know that. And a bunch of DNC stuff since I keep asking them to show me evidence of their claims. Oh, so that kind of worked opposite. Or maybe they're trying to convince you, Ken. They're trying to convince you. See, we're right. Keep going. Keep going. We're right. Yeah, maybe. I like that. All right, let me grab a couple more if I could. All righty. Let me move down another one. All right. Oh, this is a couple of these here. Let me grab a couple more of these if I can. All right. Laura says, if anyone in Congress would stop and really think about what is really happening to humanity and our paradigm shift, they would probably never show their faces again. Our leaders are worthless. There's a couple things here, Laura. One of them is people think, many of these people think, that they're the ones who can fix it. They honestly believe this. So you don't understand, Laura. I got to stay here and fight because I can fix it. I'm the one. If it's not me, it's nobody else, blah, 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 blah. Right? I think that's the issue. They believe it. And they fool themselves into thinking without me, it's worse. They fool themselves into that. That's why they stay, even when they see the horribleness. So we got grabbed all those super chats. I'm head over to, let me go to Instagram. All right. Kinship says, is he stopping the establishment though? The point I'll bring up here is he's attacking them. I'm not sure RFK Jr. is going to stop the establishment. I'm not sure he can stop it. He's one guy. He's getting more people in, and he's breaking a hole that others will have to. When I ran in 2018, that was my saying. I said, I'll get ballot access in New York State for the Libertarian Party. I will break a hole in the wall. You will have to follow me through because I can't do it by myself. That was my entire pitch. And it worked. As I said before, in 2019, we had 107 elected libertarians in New York State. Went from 0 to 107. 107 people followed me through that hole. That's it. Kennedy's doing the same thing. He's got to push through so that other people can follow him through. That's the piece. So, yeah. All righty. Chameleon says the sickest children in the world is a completely made up statistic, though. It is not. What he means is what he said is not made up. What he meant was in the industrialized world. That's true. Not in the whole world. That's accurate. He means the industrialized world. And that's true. We are far sicker as children than the Brits, than the Germans. We absolutely are. That's true. But are we sicker than some other place in the world? No. So he means that. It's not completely made up. That again is someone's trying to insult Kennedy. That's not. He just we'll just insult him. See, he's dumb. No, he exaggerated by saying the entire world when he meant the modern, not the modern world. I guess the first world, advanced world, maybe that. So let's see. The U.S. is a high rate. Peace Logic already responded. Thank you, Peace. Jumped on board the story before I did. The U.S. has high rates of obesity, diabetes, asthma, and depression compared to other developed nations. That's what it is. Yes. For example, the U.S. has over twice the average rate of obesity and diabetes. Correct. When it comes to the developed world, we are the worst, but not the whole world. That's true. So yes. So all righty. Let's see here. Peace Logic also says the Larry Sharpe Way show is excellent for politics and many other topics. Oh, thank you for that. Yes. I try to not just do politics. I do a lot of politics, obviously, but I try to also do culture. I do things that I think are important or valuable, what I think matter. That's what I do. So yes. SharpFan12 over on Rumble says, kids hopefully won't get tattooed, but maybe microchipped like they've been doing to pets. Kim, I think I'm with SharpFan on that one. Kim, I think the microchipping is going to happen before tattoos. Because the thought process, when you can pull the microchip out, it's temporary. Well, tats are permanent. I'm going to go with SharpFan. Kim, I think he's right. I think SharpFan we're going to do, that's the first piece. Trade, thank you for the $2. Talking to Mastermind says, on YouTube, I was lactose intolerant after I moved from home. We were raised on goat milk. I get milk directly from the cow now without a problem. It's a processing the problem. It is. The processing is the problem. For those of you who don't know, when they process the milk, if you're lactose intolerant, you can't have processed milk. But many people who are lactose intolerant can actually have raw milk. It is the processing, straight in. That's true. That's what it is. And it's data. You can just do a simple Google search. You'll find it. It's data on that. That's actually true. So yes. Peace Logic says, definitely microchip over tattoo. Yeah, I think so. Kim, I think microchip first. Tattoos later. Microchip first. Yes. Peace also for the dollar says, what's the baby tattoo moment? For ID, I want an Escher tattoo if I do it all over. He's the artist. Oh, that guy, yes. That transforms and mutates graphics like birds turning into clouds or endless staircases. A tattoo would probably be for some type of identification. I think so. Yeah, it'd be something like that. But I think microchip. Much better. I think microchip, yeah. Man. Tradan says, USA lost AAA credit rating. That's true. Moody's dropped our credit rating to like 1A1 or something like that. I forgot. Whatever the one below AAA is. I don't know what it's called. A1A or something. It's all garbage. It means it's just shit they made up. So it's like, whatever. It's now this thing. And they mentioned the reason was our debt. Now you're saying, no way, Larry, that's impossible. Because MMT, modern monetary theory, teaches us that debt doesn't matter. We've been taught this. It doesn't matter. So why would Moody's lower our credit rating? It could be, maybe, because MMT is bullshit. It could be because of that. I mean, maybe not. I'm thinking it's because of that. Because it's all BS. It's not real. Debt does matter. And even Moody's gets it. So America is no longer AAA anymore. Yeah. But it's the second piece people aren't talking about. It isn't just that. We've had debt for a while. Lots of it for a long time. So why would it happen now? Here's what people aren't telling you. I'll bring this up because some of you will look into it because you care. People aren't buying our bonds anymore. Nothing, but relatively. The Chinese and the Japanese used to rush to buy our bonds. Now we're throwing them out at fire sales. And the interest rates aren't so great anymore. So here's the problem. When the interest rates are low and inflation isn't that high, right? So just so you can understand this, if someone decides to buy our bond at whatever, 5%, whatever the number, 5%, right? So they're going to get 5% back on that bond. Well, America doesn't make enough money to pay back its debts. That's why we go into debt every year. That's our deficit. So now we have to sell more bonds to pay off the first bonds. Well, if we have to pay a higher interest rate on the second bond compared to the first bond, now we're not even robbing Peter to pay Paul. Now we're just getting into more debt just to fund our debt. So to service our debt, we go even more into debt at a higher interest rate. That's what's happening now. That's why Moody's made the move, not just because we have lots of debt, but because the interest rates now are so bad. Because when they buy bonds, a bond can be a 1-year bond, it can be a 5-year bond, it can be a 20-year bond, whatever the piece is, right? So if you're buying a bond that pays X%, and how it has to work, by the way, for those who don't know, is if you buy a bond, you buy $100 million in bonds, right? You're a country, you buy $100 million in bonds. You now get paid every quarter, every month, every year, a percentage on that bond. Say it's 3%. So you buy a $100 million bond, you get paid $3 million in dollars every year. So you get $3 million every year off the $100 million you bought. Then at the end of the 7 years, whatever the number is, they pay you back the $100 million. Right? So you get the money back. That's how they stock up all their dollar reserves to buy things overseas, right? That's by buying our bonds. That's how they get the dollars. So we give it to them. Now, what's supposed to happen is they then buy our goods, giving us our dollars back, and then we give them goods. But what's happening is, since it's a reserve currency, they give dollars all over the place, not just to us, to anybody, because everyone's using dollars out there, right? So now we're not even getting our dollars back. That's why he gets mad. Trump gets mad at trade deficits because of that. Now, the issue is, though, can we get service back? We do. Heavily financial services. So U.S. is very much on financial services. And so we get our dollars back on that, which is why finance has been doing so well. So I hope that answers your question, straight in. I know I'm a bit long on that one, but that's the reason why it's happening. So, yes. All right. I hope that was kind of clear. So, all right. Monkey See, Monkey Do says, yes, go RFK. MSNBC features him daily, I think. So probably doing something good. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. Sarah says, whoa, proof of the shadow banning? Did we need more proof? No. I found that out a long time ago. And I literally asked people to show up, and people can't figure out how to fix Larry Sharpe. That's why I basically abandoned it. If you notice, on my Larry Sharpe YouTube page, I just put copies of what I do on this page now. I don't even go live on it, except I still go live on it when it comes to my radio show. For those of you who are paying attention, I do a radio show out of Western New York every Tuesday at 1. That's not my podcast. That's a separate terrestrial show that I do out of Western New York to keep people in Western New York aware of who I am, what I'm doing. Western New York is the libertarian stronghold of New York. There are more libertarians in Western New York than any other part of the state. In fact, in Steuben County, I got 9% of the vote when I ran. That's insane, 9%. So yeah, so that is my stronghold. So I keep active there. So on that, for that show only, I do stream live on Larry Sharpe YouTube. Otherwise, I don't. It's just obvious. It's no need. It doesn't matter at all. So yes. All righty. Let me walk down this road if I can. A couple more of these. Do we have any more super chats that I missed? I think I did. Okay. Lunacy, again, thank you for $9. Just remember, freedom lovers are the majority of the world. We must agree that we can live in cooperations without accountability of a system other than the human they are cooperating with, freedom. There was and I don't know if it's true, but it made sense to me. There was a clip I saw from a TV show. And in the clip, again, don't know if it's true. It's just a guy talking. And it's an anti-government clip. He basically says, wherever you go across the world, I'm going to paraphrase it. Wherever you go across the world, when there are under 500 people, I've heard 250, but in this TV show, he says 500. But I've heard this 250. When it's under 500 people, there's no need for a government. This is what the guy says in the clip. There's no need for a government, and that people just get together and talk things out and figure out, how to defend each other, how to divvy up food, who does what, how to divvy up things. We just figure it out on our own. We just talk to each other. We're free people, and we figure things out, right? It's what happens. He says, once you get to 500, that's when you start seeing governments form, and people start taking advantage of people, and people start, imposing their will upon others, and people start, taking advantage of other people's labor. Now, is that true? I don't know. But it was an interesting clip. It's from a recent series that just came up recently. I forgot what series it was. But it just came out. And someone sent it to me, like either my DM me or something. That's how I saw it. I've heard something similar, but the number I heard lunatic was 250. I heard that 250 was kind of number, which is that's the biggest number we can get really. And that most people will have 250 friends at max. The biggest chunk of friends on Facebook or social media is 250 is most common, that and under. So when we get big, when we get out of our co-ops, that's when we start using each other. Now, maybe the number is 500. Maybe it's 250. I don't know. I've heard the number actually is around 150. That's what I heard that number too. I don't care what the number is, man. I don't. Let's start figuring that out. Let's start figuring it out. Let's start living in smaller groups where we're accountable to each other. Maybe it's 250. Okay. Maybe it's 500. Okay. I'm good. So yeah, I don't know if you saw that same clip. I got to find it now. Someone either emailed it to me or DM me. So yes. Phil says, have you talked to 1300 in Albany for syndication? I have not. Should I? To be forward, Phil, I don't get paid for that show. I don't get paid for that show. I do it for free. So if somebody wants to pay me to do a show, I'm happy to. When you see me do shows, I do shows out of Syracuse sometimes. I do Bob Lonsberry's show. That's free too. I don't get paid for that either. I know you say, Larry, do you ever get paid for this stuff you do? No, I probably should, but I don't because I want to do it because I care. I want people to know the message. I want people to see it. So, and if I've negotiated a contract, they may say no. So I did no contract. What do you want? I'll do it. Yes, I just do it. I say yes. Tomorrow I'm going to raise money for Libertarian Party tomorrow. I'm not getting paid for that. It's free. I know. I should stop this. I'm bad. See, when it comes to my business, I make money. When it comes to this stuff, I want to make it happen. I want to make it happen. And I feel I need to use you as my agent. You can be my agent. Why don't you call him up for me? Be my agent. Give me paid. There we go. We'll do that. But yeah, absolutely. All right. Let me see if I can grab here if I can. All right. Andrea says, how can anyone be against ending chronic disease? Because there's money in it, Andrea. There's literally money in it. It's an industrial complex. There's money in it, right? He said it, and he's right. The most profitable thing in America is a sick kid. Why would I stop having six sick kids if that's what I'm getting paid off of? It's just cash. It's that simple. I wish I was wrong. You know I'm right. I'll grab this one if I can. Since this is Ask Me Anything, hold on. What are your thoughts on Rockland County? Anyway, was born in Nyack, lived in New City, New York till I was 8, now in Georgia. That's an odd question. That is Vivek's broad questions. Rockland County, for those who don't know, is it's kind of near the lower Hudson Valley of New York. It's right outside of New York City. Maybe, is it 2? Yeah, it's 2 counties outside of New York City. Westchester and then Rockland, right? Yeah, that's right. If I get my map correct. It's right by. Rockland has a very large Hasidic Jewish population. They call it the block vote. They all vote the same up there. It was like, do you get to block vote out of Rockland County? I think Rockland County is a beautiful place. The problem is Rockland County has 2 issues. It has the block vote as one, and it also has a very bad drug problem. Rockland County has a huge drug problem right now, and that has to be fixed. It's heavily like things like meth. It's a problem. And one thing that was making it better, it's going to sound crazy, was actually vaping. You're saying, Larry, are you pro vaping? I'm pro whatever's going to make things better. And vaping was exploding in Rockland County because people were trying to break their other bad habits, which were drugs, and they were going to vaping to stop the drug habit. And it was actually beginning to work. Now, vaping has its own issues, but if I have a choice between being a meth addict or a vapor, I'm going to go with vapor. That's my 2 choices. I'm going to go there. Of course, New York State shut down vaping, and now it's a problem. So I like Rockland County. I visit there often. I think we do have to work on the drug problem there, and that's mostly because most people who live in Rockland County don't work in Rockland County. That's a problem. They should be working in Rockland County, and they're not. There is enough business in Rockland County, and there's a huge Hasidic Jewish population, which tends to be very internal, right? So the Hasidic Jewish population in Rockland County isn't sharing the wealth outside of Rockland County. So they're doing well internally. Not mad at them for it. You do you. I don't mind. Civic Jews are fine. I don't care. I have tons of them in Brooklyn, here in New York City. Tons of them. And here in Queens, where I live outside of Astoria. Huge Hasidic community in Long Island City. It's fine. But they tend to be, what's the word I'm looking for? They face inward, right? And they take care of themselves, which is fine. But others have to work on that too. So yeah. Anyway, I hope I answered your question. It was an odd one, but it's fine. I can answer it. Lunatic, thank you for the $10. We have a cooperation of billions. They only understand promised notes of control called dollars. We cooperate daily through a means of exchange. That's not accountability, but cash. I like accountability. Yes, but that co-op of billions is not a real co-op. It's to your point. There's no accountability to each other. In fact, if anything, if there's anything that's not accountability, it's expectation and entitlement, if anything, right? I'm a member of this tribe, Americans. I'm a member of this tribe, British. I'm a member of this tribe, Chinese. So therefore I get, therefore I deserve, therefore I need. I don't know if I'd call it a cooperation. I would call it an agreement, maybe. But to your point, it's notes of control. There's no accountability there. I think you're using the wrong word there. I would not use cooperation for that one. I would use something else. I think co-op is the wrong word there. So yeah. All righty. Kim says, are you familiar with Ty and Charlene Bollinger, Larry? Yes, that's where I got to know Del Bigtree. I know Del too. Yep. Del and I have raised money together. We raised money together for Bobby more than once. So I've been on stage with them. Last year, Freedom Fest. I was on stage. I think he may be on Freedom Fest this year too. I'll probably see him again at Freedom Fest, which is in June in Palm Springs. Palm Springs. Yes. So I do think that we might raise money together again for Bobby. We'll see. We will see. But again, this is a good point. Kim, think of all the people in that world. How many of them should have, in theory, gone with Bobby to HHS? They didn't. Of course they're upset. Of course they are. I, by the way, to be clear, told everybody before they even asked me, I do not want a job in administration. They didn't ask me, but before they did, I said, I do not want a job in administration. Thank you, but no thanks. Because there was rumor they wanted to put me in the communications department, believe it or not. I was like, nope. I got other things to do. Me and Lunatic got work to do. I can't be playing that game in DC. Me and Lunatic got work to do. So I actually said no. They didn't ask me yet, but there was talks early on about me joining the communication team. And I was like, no way. The only job I might have taken, maybe, would if I could have been the press secretary, which I would have never gotten in a million years. I'd have been part of a team somehow. I'd never gotten that job. If I could have gotten that job, oh, that's delicious. I might have cracked. Lunatic, you might have lost me for that one. You might have lost me if I could have got that sweet job of being able to yell at the press every day. Oh, that's delicious. You might have lost me if I could have got that job, but that was never going to happen. I'd have been in the mix somehow, which is utterly not worth it. I would have never taken that job. So press secretary, though, maybe. I mean, that's a tasty position. I might have collapsed for that one. I might have. I'm just being honest. I might have collapsed for that one. So yes. Laura says, it feels great to have a tribe. Really heals my soul to see people who see what has happened and want to do something about it. This is the part that I like, Laura, that I feel like things are happening now. And people are talking about things that they never talked about before. Is it perfect? No. But now we're talking, right? We're going back and forth, right? That's the issue. I do like that piece. So, yeah. All right. Let's see if I can go here. Mastermind Hour says Stephen Hawking was brilliant, but he still went to EpiPen's Island. I'm on YouTube, Mastermind. Sorry. Yes. Yeah. So maybe he's a bad guy doing bad things. It does mean he wasn't brilliant, right? There we go. There we go. Phil says, but you don't take my word for it. Larry Sharpe, LeVar Burton. Did I miss something? I don't get that joke. I know it's a joke because it's you, Phil. So it's a joke. I just don't get the joke. That one went over my head. That went over my head. I know it's a joke because it's you, Phil. So I know it's a joke. I just don't get the joke. So yeah, I must have missed it. Maybe I missed what was happening. I'm not sure. So Monkey See, Monkey Do says, Nicole's a fighter. Go Nicole. Yes and yes. 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 100%. I do like that tremendously. I think she is 100%. Yep. Greg says, thank you for being a member, Greg. When has a politician perfectly done everything we've wanted them to do? You know, it's a great point, Greg. And I really like that you said this, because not only do we do it perfectly, I just want them to do what they say, even if they fail, right? Obviously, I don't want Medicare for all. I don't. But Democrats, particularly one group of Democrats, the Squad, ran on Medicare for all. And a lot of people who are far left in the Democratic Party walked away when they didn't try to push it. They should have. They should have forced the vote. That was what they should have done. They should have fought for it. Even if they lost it, people voted for the Squad so they could get Medicare for all. And the Squad went, just kidding. And they're paying a price for it. And they should have. They should have pushed it. People may not like what Trump is doing. And I get it. Some people don't like Trump. Okay. I get it. But he is doing what he said he was doing. I don't like his tariffs, but he ran on tariffs and he's doing tariffs. I cannot like it, but he's doing what he said. And I said it before and I'll say it again, Greg. I want more politicians to do what they say, even if I don't like it, because then when my politician does win, they have to do what they say too. I want politicians to do what they say. I don't care if it's perfect. What I will give RFK Jr. 100%, whether you agree with him or not, he's doing what he said. It's not perfect, but he's doing it. He could have backed off. He's doing it. Trump's doing what he said too. True. I would like more politicians to just do what they say, even if they fail. Why do you think people, Democrats, are even listening to AOC and Bernie anymore? Why would they even listen to them? They failed, clearly, and sold out. Clearly sold out. And Democrats will tell you that. They sold out. Lefties will tell you that. They sold out. It's true. They sold out. Because no Democrats are actually fighting on doing what they're saying. So they take what they can get. And what they can get is AOC and Bernie yelling at people in wherever, in Idaho, wherever they went to. Okay, I guess that's what I got. I'll take that. Nothing else. Because Democrats knew what they were saying, what they were supposed to do. They just collapsed. So, all right, Stelline, thank you for the $5. Oh, thank you so much for $5. Thank you. Thank you for the $5. Appreciate it. So I hope that makes sense at least, right? I know it isn't great, but I think we have to go that route. I can't see any other way we can do it. So, all righty. Let's see if I can go down here. Ryan says, no Sharpe membership of Nancy Pelosi. True, she makes more than $2 million a month. Nancy Pelosi, if you're watching, you may not take one of those memberships. Pay your $4.99. You make more than $2 million a year. I'm sorry, $2 million a month. So Nancy Pelosi, do not take free membership if you happen to be watching. I really hope you're watching. Andrea says, I swam in creeks. Actually, me too. Yes, I did too. Yes, it does. Yeah, I did too. Yep. All righty. Let's see here. Kim says, I swim in creeks every chance I get. Shelly says, I swam in the Hudson River all through my childhood. There we go. Michael says, swimming in creeks should be practiced more. Wow, this creek thing is, people like this. Patty says, we swam in creeks, rivers, lakes, streams as kids and played in large mud puddles. Yes, absolutely. Yep. Lunatic says, I am labeled a bad parent because my children didn't come into this world under cesarean, shotted, or human intervened. I'm not mad at you, Lunatic. I'm not mad at you. Yes, I'm not mad at you at all. It'd be nice if more people were that way. Yes. So Laura says, I earn $1,600 a month. You are one of only 2 memberships. Oh, I give myself, thank you. Please, Nicole is 100% transparent and authentic. She has learned a lot in her lifetime. Her comment was respectful, mad respect. I'm not mad at Nicole. I said it, Laura. I'm not mad at her. I understand. I hope the Civil War can now kind of chill. That's my hope. But she has every right from what she's seen, from what she's done. I understand why she's upset. I do. I get it. All right. Peace says, I find it hard to believe that meth addicts would use nicotine vape to quit their bad habit. They do. They have. And it wasn't just nicotine. It was also weed. So yeah, it wasn't just nicotine. It was nicotine, but it was also weed. So for those of you who don't know, cannabis does help with withdrawal symptoms. So it was nicotine and it was cannabis. They're using both. So, but they weren't supposed to be. Cannabis wasn't legal. Still isn't in New York unless you get the $250,000 thing and you pay people and blah blah blah. So yeah. So, but yes, that's the piece. They're using both nicotine and they're using cannabis. They're using both. So I hope that makes sense. All righty. Let's see here. Okay, so JJ4884 says, no worries, I understand. There we go. So you understand what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about. So yeah. He goes on to say, what are your thoughts? Thank you for $2. What are your thoughts on career aptitude tests for those who want a change of pace? I think aptitude tests are wonderful. I think the national, testing for who gets the highest points are virtually useless. They don't assist anybody in anything. Life isn't taking tests. It doesn't matter if you take a test, if you're good, it doesn't make you good at anything. Test taking in general is pretty much useless. But I get that. When it comes to aptitude tests, very good. Aptitude tests do allow you to think about what you're good at and make you think differently. Because if you enjoy something that you're not good at, you recognize that if I still want to do it, I must really work hard at it. So you don't assume that you can't do it. You have to really work hard at it, which means you can think in yourself now. You can say, you know what? I'm not naturally good at this thing, but I like it. Am I prepared to work hard to be good at it or not? And your choice. You know what? No, I'm going to bust my rump and I'm going to be good at this thing. Or, you know what? It's not worth it. I don't like it that much. I'll do something else. Both are the right answer as long as you are making a smart decision in your own life. So I like aptitude tests a lot. I think they're great ideas. They help people tremendously. And as I mentioned, for my plan for New York State, there should be no standardized testing until high school. And high school testing should be for aptitude. So you start thinking to yourself, what am I going to do with my life, right? What am I good at? What can I start my first career? The average person, and I said this before, I said this years ago, the average person 5 years ago is going to have 5 separate careers. Careers, not jobs, careers. Now, probably with AI, even more. Probably more like 7 or 8. Probably 7 or 8 careers. But so that means you're going to keep learning. So your aptitude matters. So I would look at my aptitude, and then I take aptitude tests often. I would if I were you. If you keep bouncing around to figure out what your next step is. I think it's a great idea. I'm all in. I think we should do it. I love the idea. So 100% yes on that. All right. All righty. Kim says, is everyone seeing how Queen Kathy's going to give us back $150 of our money from the overflow of taxes? Oh, yes, right. She's going to give us a money back. She's falling back to the old idea. We'll write you a check. So, but I will be doing a show, by the way, on New York State and where it is on Tuesday. So I got another piece in from somebody who showed me where New York ranks on certain things. Hint, spoiler alert, not good. Biggest budget per capita in the entire country, and we rank mediocre. Of course we do. Of course we do. Yes, absolutely. So, all righty. Phil says we need some good AMA questions, not boxers or briefs, but proper AMAs. Okay, that's good. So I won't ask that question because no one asked it because it's not the right good one. So yes. Sarah says RFK Jr. has so little support. Surrounding him are enemies. True. I'm probably wrong, but I think he's getting easy stuff done first and gain support, then go after the white whale. I think you're correct. I think you're correct. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. 100%. So, all righty. Sarah says, we are at $21 in ranting. How can we get to 25? You can make it happen. Oh, guys, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Thank you, guys. I really do. Monkey See, Monkey Do says, what are your thoughts on space exploration and possibly of colonizing other planets? It is one of the most important things that we could possibly do. I'm not joking. Space exploration is critical. And a lot of people don't like it. They go, we got problems here, blah, 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 blah. So what? So what? Space exploration is insanely important and valuable. Why? Years ago, Newt Gingrich was running for president. I think it was 2000. Was it 12? I forgot when he ran for president, whatever it was, 10 years, 15 years ago, whenever he was running. And he was talking about colonizing, putting a moon base and colonizing the moon. People laughed at him. And I said, there's many reasons to not like Newt Gingrich. That's not one of them. The moon base is a brilliant idea, and so is Mars. Why? It gives us a reason to innovate. We need that, or we fall into, as Andrea saw, into industrial complexes, and we just start making money off of pain. That's what we do. You see it constantly. Why would it matter for us to say have a moon base? All right. Why do I care? You go on the moon, what do you got to figure out? I got to figure out how to make oxygen. I got to figure out how to survive all that radiation, right? Because they don't have, the moon doesn't have a core, right? Or an atmosphere. So I got to figure all that out. Why would that matter? Radiation treatments. We'll figure stuff out. Yeah. Our moon trip the first time, we had to figure out all types of things. And we use that technology in other things we're doing. So have a moon base. We will make so much technology from that. It will be insane. We'll have so much technology just for having a moon base. We'll figure out how to heal bones. Why? Because you can go on the moon and heal without gravity. You might travel to the moon for healing. You might make a non-gravity place that copies the moon. You can test it on the moon and then bring it here and make an anti-grav thing here on the Earth so you can heal faster, heal better. I'm making that up, but there's all kinds of things that could happen. I got to figure out how to communicate on the moon to here. How do I figure that out? Got to be somebody to do that too. Maybe we need a faster cable. There's no cable. We got a cable to the moon. How are we going to do that? Got to figure that out too. I don't know what that is. Got to figure that one out. All that stuff we got to figure out to go to the moon. All of it. All valuable. Now I even say go to Mars. Why? If we start colonizing other planets, we can do something else. We can get resources from other planets. Whatever those resources are. Is there gold someplace that we need? We don't need gold, right? I remember I was joking about this. We got to get Elon to send a rocket off to one of the asteroids that's got gold on it, right? So then we head over there, get the gold from the asteroid, bring it back to America, and maybe we'll have some actual gold in Fort Knox. There's none now, but we'll have some gold there, and we actually back our money again. Any of those things, it's nothing but good. It helps us out to figure things out. It gets great technology. It also does something else. There are very few things that keep us together. Very few. Very few. Real space exploration and colonization can bring us together. It can. Now we've linked it only with Elon Musk. So now people who love Mars now hate it. Why? Because Elon bad. Because now spaceman bad. That is how embarrassingly stupid we are as a population. We keep doing that stuff. That's the reason I don't like it. Why? Because Elon. That's the wrong reason to not like it. But that's why we don't. The reality of it is a wonderful idea. It's very important. And Elon is correct in one thing he says. If we are going to survive as a species, we need to be a multi-planet species if we're going to survive. Eventually, this planet is not going to be suitable for humanity at one point. So we got to be able to keep moving on. We have to figure out how to terraform, right? And that's what will also happen in Mars. When we get to Mars, we will figure out how to terraform. For those who know what terraforming is, you have to be able to form the planet so that's suitable for human beings, right? We don't know how to make a magnetic field. Earth has a magnetic field that pushes off a lot of our radiation and solar flares, stuff like that, right? Mars does not have that. We will have to figure out a way to create one. I don't know how you do that, but we'll have to figure out a way. Some people say you got to put a grid all around it, or you've got to insert something into the middle. Who knows? I don't care. We'll figure it out. Or we can't survive on it. We have to figure out how to create an atmosphere, how to take from the atmosphere fuel, how to take from the atmosphere to create water, all that stuff. So this is just great technology that we have to do. So yes, it is insanely important. It is one of the most valuable things that we could possibly do. I'm all for it. There we go. Hope I answered your question. So, all righty. Duke of Heck says, the deep state will shun RFK. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp signed a bill protecting Monsanto from lawsuits related to cancer and Parkinson's disease. Of course. Of course. I didn't even know that, Duke. That's news to me. But that tracks. That tracks perfectly, right? Because again, you're getting cash. Andrea, you asked that question. Why would anyone be against sick kids? Well, because Brian Kemp gets a lot of money from Monsanto. And Monsanto makes sick kids and sick adults. So he's getting paid. Cash. There's an industrial complex on this. That's why. So there we go. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. All righty. So I'm gonna grab a couple more of these here. My VA lady, $2. I hope everyone's been watching Larry's Facebook and Instagram stories. That's a quick way to see updates on the show, times, and links. Also, short clips end up there too that aren't on the regular feed. Well, there we go. Thank you for that. Please do that. Of course. Yes. Any more of these? Oh, Herman Cain. Yes. Shucky Ducky. Cain is gone. Yes. Shucky Ducky. Yes. Absolutely. Let's see here. Sharpe fan says, born in 1962, growing up, expect to find a job working on the moon colony where I graduated from college in 1985. He used to say, very disappointed, but maybe I can go to Mars before I die. Sharpe fan, I'm going to tell you the truth. I thought the same thing. I was talking to my daughter about this, who's 21. She's 21. And she's like, Dad, a lot of my generation, we're very, cynical about the future. Were you? I was like, no. I thought I was going to be a guard on the moon. I did. I thought I was going to be a Marine guard on the moon, or something. I was going to be an Army guard on the moon, on a moon base. That's what I thought when I was like 12, right? Going to be jumping in the rocket, going to be guarding the president when he goes visit the moon. I thought stuff like that when I was a kid. I thought it was going to be great. I thought we're going to win the Cold War and the Russians are going to be our friends. That's what I thought. And I thought, we're all going to get together and do a space station. And I thought exactly what Sharpe Fan 12 thought. I thought the same thing when I was a kid. And boy, was that not true. But yeah, this generation thinks I might be a TikTok fan. Maybe. Mastermind says doctors don't work for hospitals. They work for insurance companies. True. The insurance companies dictate what they can and cannot do. Correct. Which is why the quacks who don't take insurance, don't worry about that. You're correct. That's why we want cracks. Yes. Laura says, I think you're very right. I'd really like to see him just come straight out. It does look suspect that he may have to do too many skeletons or may have to play Washington games. Here's the issue. There are many reasons why I do this show, Laura, and many reasons why I share myself. One of them, as I've said before, is so that you guys know me well enough that when the lies come out, you won't believe them because I've shared so much of myself and been so open that you will know who I am. And you'll be like, that's not Larry. Or yeah, that tracks. That's Larry. Like you'll know because you know me. That's one of the reasons why I share myself. The second reason why I share myself is I want you to trust me, right? If I don't share myself and open up to you, why would you open up to me? I want you to trust me because if I run for office again, if I do things, I'm going to ask you to do things and support me. Well, you got to trust me. That too. Another reason why I'm so open with who I am and what I'm doing is I don't want any skeletons. I want to be as unblackmailable as possible, right? So if you all know everything and I say things openly, if you can just go through all my shows and see everything I've ever said, I'm unblackmailable. It's already out there. Like it's already out there. So yes, the cover up is always worse than the crime. Just come clean. Just come clean. Whatever it is. Did he do something weird? Did he screw up? Did he cheat on somebody? Did he steal somebody's money? Whatever. All right, just say it. I'm with you. Can he not do the thing because he's in trouble because of it? Just say it and it's done, right? If someone ever blackmails me, I hope one day it'll happen. Someone blackmails me. I'm just like, oh, that's the thing? People don't know about that? I'm going to literally go online and just say it. Done. Unblackmailed, right? Larry, you did this thing. And I forgot I did that thing. We're going to tell the world. Oh, don't bother. I got you. I'm going to go online and tell the world. Done. That's it. So, in fact, in 2018, when they did lies about me, Lauren, I don't know if you were following me then, they would say lies about me. I would take the lies they put about me and I put it on my social media. Yeah, because people would talk about it. Did Larry do that? He couldn't have done that. Oh, yeah. No, he didn't do that. No way. They would lie about me. I just put it on, there we go. Unblackmailable. Yeah, whatever. So, yes. I hope that makes sense. So, all righty. Liberal Lady says, Larry, can you tell a story about when the doctor wanted to put you on pills, even though you had great test results? Oh, yes. Okay. I've been on keto, obviously, for now 15 years now. Yeah, 15 years now. And so this is about 4 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe. I go to the doctor. I got good numbers. And the doctor says, Larry, you're getting older. We should put you on a statin. I said, statin? Why? Well, we want to make sure you keep your cholesterol under control. I said, okay. I said, but I'm good. I'm on a keto diet. Her words to me, I'm not joking. Well, that's unsustainable. What do you mean? That diet's unsustainable. It is. Yes, we got to put you on statins so that we can keep it down. I'm not joking. It's what my doctor told me. I was like, oh, okay. I got to tell you, I've been on keto for 12 years. Yeah, but it's unsustainable. Okay, how long sustainable? At that point, it was 12 years. It's 3 since then. True story. I don't think she was trying to harm me. I don't. I think she honestly thought that was the right answer. Just, it's unsustainable. Why? Because someone told her it was unsustainable. So it's unsustainable. Yeah. I know some of you are like, what? Yeah. You're like, that, Larry, why do you go to that doctor? Because it was on my insurance form. I don't know my doctor. I don't go see him except every 4 years. And it changed recently. I don't know. I don't go there. I don't care. The doctor I see is there to fill out a form so that when I run for office and I submit my paperwork showing that I had a physical, that's why the doctor's there. So I don't care what they think. I don't care. I'm not going to listen to anything they say. I don't care. Just sign the paperwork. Thank you so much. Here's your copay. Get paid. I'm going to go give this to the public if they need it. That's it. That's why I do it. So yes, that she literally said that. I know it sounds nutty. Utterly true. Completely true. So yes. Peace. Thank you for the dollar, my friend, over on Rumble. Hey, with AI advancement and medical innovations, we may be able to extend our life. Larry, and visit the moon. True. There, someone said, I forgot who it was, some futurist said, the person who will live to 250 years old has already been born. Maybe it's my daughter. I hope so. So yes, I'm going to visualize it. Headline, why is Larry and Dean on the moon? Because we can. We need to get some cool spacesuits. Get matching spacesuits. What you think, man? Be kind of cool. I agree. Sarah, thank you for $2. I want tariffs on all certified organic products, mostly crops, from outside the U.S. because they're usually not organic. Totally F's organic U.S. farmers. Fair tax? Okay, now I made it $25. Oh, okay, I got it. Interesting. So you tariff the bogus organic. Is that how you stop it? So you're saying you don't want to ban it, you just want to tariff it. Maybe, because it's Would it stop U.S. farmers from using it? Is that your goal? I got to think about that one. So I'm torn on that one. I get your logic. I got to think about that one. Treden says, thank you for the dollar. Thank you for what you do, Larry. Oh, Treden, thank you for that. I appreciate that, guys. I appreciate all of these. I really do. I do appreciate that. Absolutely. So Sovereign Astrology says, I don't do doctors either, Larry. I stopped believing in the Western medicine complex ages ago. Also, keto is magic. It is. It is. Yes. Sarah says, Sabby still likes Bernie. Yes, I agree, but she's disappointed in him. And she says it often. But yeah, that's true. 100%. It is true. So, all righty. Let's see here. Mastermind Hour says, I think the first time I got to see Larry was on Saturday. Oh, there we go. See? There we go. I like it. I like it. Ashley, I have to get back to you. I know I owe you. I'm so far behind on stuff because my weekend got shot. A bunch of stuff came up. I haven't forgotten you. I need to get back to you. I will. Thank you for still bugging me. For those of you who don't know, I'm never upset about if I say I'm going to help out or do something and you bug me, keep bugging me. I'm never mad. You cannot over communicate. I get overwhelmed often and new things pop in and it just sucks up all my energy and time. So thank you for still staying here. Yes. Larry, pro-lifers like me are calling on RFK and FDA to restore the safety guidelines, the abortion pill. Do you have any thoughts on that? I sure do. I don't want to give too much of what you're doing away because we're going to do some work on that. Ashley and I are working on something for the future regarding this concept. We're working on it for the future. Hopefully by next month, we'll have something out talking about this issue. I think we have to have a national conversation. I don't want to give all of it away, Ashley, so I'll give some of it away. I think we have to have a national conversation on this. We really do. For pro-lifers and for pro-choicers too, but specifically pro-lifers, we have to have a national conversation on this. because now we're starting to fight on nitty gritty on, okay, is it 1 week or 12 weeks or 20 weeks or 9 weeks or 15 weeks, right? We're starting to have that. And then is the pill this, is the pill that, which one is the right one? So I have lots of thoughts on it. And the number one issue I have is it's got to be transparent and there have to be national guidelines, not necessarily regulations, guidelines. They have to be. So we'll go into more detail. I will get to you by next week. Ashley, I'll get to you by next week. Yes. Phil says due diligence is great. They won Jimmy Dore. Yeah, I like due diligence. I do. Yes, I do. I like those guys. I had them on my show. I was on one of theirs, I think, once too. Yeah. Yeah. Kim says, Larry, how can we find out when and which shows you were on? So we can watch them live. I do post it when I know. I don't always know. And most of them aren't live. That's the issue. I'm the weird guy who does live shows. Most of these guys don't do live shows. Most of them, we record it and they put it up whenever they put it up. And then I post it. So yes. Andrew says, market the cars reference. If you go hard enough left, you'll find yourself turn right. Maybe. Is it the horseshoe thing? Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Michael says, I left the Green Party because Hawkins was pushing the Russiagate narrative in his run. Yeah, people got mad at the Green Party. People got mad at Hawkins. They did. That was a thing. And now he's not really their guy anymore. I still like him. He's still my friend. And it's personal, right? It's not political. It's personal. I spoke to Howie 3 months ago. He had a call. He lives here in New York. For those of you who don't know, he lives up in Syracuse. He lives in Syracuse. He's still working. Hasn't retired. He's like working for UPS or something or FedEx. I forgot. Works something like that. So yeah. So anyway, yeah, I still like him, but I get it. Yes. Minor threat goes, if I go traditional Marxist, yes, that up for Second Amendment. True. And the decent ones don't like identity politics because they know it's divisive. Also true, right? People are saying things like, Harris is a Marxist. Not a Marxist. Not even close. Not even close. That was just insults on Harris. That was Republican talking points. Not true. Harris is not a Marxist. Minor threat, you and I both know actual Marxists. Harris is not one of them. That's not what they are. I mean, I'm not a big, Harris fan, but still, that's just not a fair. There are many reasons to not like Harris. That is not one of them. That's what I'll say. That is not one of the reasons. So yeah. All right. Let me grab down here if I can. Let's see. Kim says, if I had a young child, I'd have a microchip. There we go. There we go. Right then and there. We already got it already. Perfect. We already got it already. There it is. All righty. Phil says 3D printed houses is going to be revolutionary. Yeah. When we get to that level, we are going to be set completely. We get to level. Absolutely. So looking over at Instagram, and BR3 says, just watched A Bridge Too Far. I like that movie, by the way. For the first time, great war film, and true to what happened around the failure to take Arnhem. Audrey Hepburn grew up around there at a time to aristocratic fam. Yes. For those who know, The Bridge Too Far is a great film from the 70s, I think. It is about Operation Market Garden. For those who don't know what that is, that was when the British General Bernard Montgomery, decided that he was going to use paratroopers to capture all the rivers and bridges. I think it was from Belgium all the way through the Netherlands, if I'm not mistaken, to capture every single bridge to get a road that would go directly from France directly into Germany and end the war quicker. That was his goal. The sad part is, at the end didn't work because they went, the name of the movie, A Bridge Too Far. They went a little bit too far, and it wasn't a failure, but it wasn't a success. It was just okay. And then the fuel and everything then moved to Patton, and then Patton took the Third Army and pushed directly through Aachen, I think, into Germany. So that was the movie, was about that actual piece, Operation Market Garden. And they went a bridge too far. Paratroopers everywhere. And it happened to be an interesting story, and the movie shows it. They were rotating, Germans were rotating units, trying to get them off of the front line. And there was a unit, it was an SS unit that was actually fighting in Russia. And they wanted to give it rest because they've been fighting so long in Russia. So they pulled them out and they put them in Arnhem. which was a city in the Netherlands. Thinking, oh, nothing's happening here. We'll put them at rest. Here come British paratroopers. They land in Arnhem in the middle of a SS division. It did not go well. They were all captured or killed. It did not. That's a true story. And that was the bridge that went one bridge too far, and that's it. And there's a part of which I love. There's an officer that he's going to love us if you watch the movie, who was always carrying an umbrella in the movie. He's always carrying an umbrella. He's a British officer, a paratrooper. And finally, someone asked him, why do you always carry an umbrella? Like, why? In every battle we've been in, you always carry this stupid umbrella. Why do you carry this umbrella? And he goes, I always forget the passwords. He goes, what? Because I always forget the passwords. So I figure if I forget about and I have an umbrella, they'll know I'm British and they won't shoot me. Cool story from the movie. I don't know why I remember these things, but it was a cool story from the movie. Back in the day, that was one of the better movies made from the day, and it is called The Bridge Too Far. And actually, Anthony Hopkins is in it. Yes. And Sean Connery is in it too. Yes. So some interesting people are in it. So Robert Redford is in it. So some of the from the 70s, a lot of cool people in it from. So anyway, I hope, thank you for putting that out there. I did remember it. It is an AMA. So there we go. Let's see here. Programming note. Yes. No show tomorrow. Just so you guys know, I will not be on tomorrow because of that. Yep. Peace Logic, looking for the dollar. Make sure your microchip implant is powered by Peace Logic. We care about your kids. I feel the love. I do. I feel the love. I absolutely do. All right. Let me grab a couple more of these comments if I could. Phil says, so is Michael Caine. Yes, he's also in it too. That's right. Yes. Michael says, ages since I saw that movie. Yes. That was a good movie though. Yep. All righty. Celine says, I just searched Larry Sharpe on YouTube and most videos are of an older white wrestler. Larry Sharpe, I used to watch him when I was a kid in the 70s. He went by the wrestling name Pretty Boy Larry Sharpe. That's me, Pretty Boy Larry Sharpe. Yes. And the funny part is his name wasn't Larry Sharpe. His name was Larry Wheel. I don't know why he picked Larry Sharpe, but kind of cool. He picked that. Sadly, he passed away in 2018. And when he passed away, I became the most popular Larry Sharpe after he passed away. He used to be the most popular Larry Sharpe. He actually had a wrestling school. I think it was in Jersey. I think it was called the Monster Factory because he would make monsters. So he taught you how to be a wrestler. So there we go. I thought it was kind of cool. So yeah. All righty. I think that makes sense. Phil says it was 1972. A lot of great actors had been in World War II, including a few at Market Garden. That was the cool thing about making movies then, right? Now we did some of that recently, not recently, more right after that, which was in the 80s. We made a lot of movies of people about Vietnam with people who had been in Vietnam, right? So in the 60s and 70s, we made movies of people who were actually in World War II. One of the greatest World War II epic movies of that time frame was a movie called The Longest Day. That movie was actually made two ways. It was made with the original foreign languages and in actual English. So the actors actually, the foreign actors actually shot two scenes. It's a true story. So you can watch the German actors. All the German actors are actually Germans. Most of them were World War II. It's like 62, 63. So it's like 15 years after the war. So they did all the scenes in German and you subtitle it and they did all again in English. The French actors, same thing, all in French and then all in English. So you can see two versions. I had both versions of the movie. I love that movie. I had two versions of the movie. I remember the part I love in that movie is when they hit the beach and everything's starting to collapse. The general decides to go on the beach. He's like, we're collapsing. I have to go on the beach myself. The general himself goes on the beach. So he's on the beach and there's one guy sitting like cowering and he says, hey son, where's your rifle? And he says, it's out there. He goes, you're going to need it, aren't you? He's like, yeah, you better go get it. So the guy goes, gets the gun. This thing is funny. He says, two types of people who are going to be on this beach. Those who are dead and those who are going to be dead. Let's move inland. Thought it was a great line the general says to get everybody going up and going. That's how they start moving forward. So I thought it was very interesting. And then they had German fighters, which was interesting too. So the great movie, a lot of great movies from that time frame. So anyway, I've yapped away. You guys talked about that. So I just wanted to make sure I cover some of those things. So there we go. All right. Jeremy says, I saw you alive on Twitter. YouTube unsub me. Guys, they do. It doesn't unsub. I'm going to bring this up. Thank you for this. Click the like button as I ask all the time. Please do so. Share this if you can. And make sure you're subscribed. please make sure you're subscribed and click all notifications. YouTube just decides randomly that you are a bot and then unsubscribes you. So please check that out. It does matter. Make sure you're subscribed, right? And select all notifications. It does matter. If you can repost this, please repost this. It does matter, guys. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for saying that. I appreciate that. That is it. That's a great thing. I do appreciate you mentioning that so people can get that. So Phil says Lara will be the first moon governor. I like that idea. I love that. Yes. So that was based on General Roosevelt. I thought Roosevelt was an admiral. Was he? I don't remember. I thought it was an admiral. I could be wrong. Dean's on his way out. I appreciate that for showing up. The longest day was amazing. I wish they had allowed Eisenhower to play in the film. It's a lot of fun. And it was good. Absolutely. Guys, I'm going to ask you, please, as I said, click the button known as like. Please do so. And also remember, the new algorithms like very much if you comment after the live. So I'm going to ask you, we talked about a lot of stuff today, but I'm going to ask you, what do you think about RFK's successes and or failures? What's your opinion? Is he doing well? Not that well? What do you think about his successes and failures? Is something really excited? Are you excited for? Something you're not? Whatever the case may be, please check those out if you would. Comment after the live. It does matter if you can. And by the way, if this is not live right now, if it's not, you're gonna see a couple videos pop up. Please click on one of them now. Watch at least 10 minutes of it. The algo loves that too. No show on Saturday. Probably no show on Sunday. See you on Monday. I will see you all very soon.